Here's a health question. Do you vape? Are you worried about vaping? Well, no vaping-related deaths have been reported yet here in South Africa. That's according to the National Council Against Smoking. This is health authorities across the world have been flagging concerns about vaping potentially leading to death or health issues. Our reporter, Sekho Moahi, has been following that story for us here in South Africa. She joins us from our newsroom with more details. Good evening to you, Sekho. Thank you so much for joining us. Just talk us through the big issue around vaping worldwide. It was lauded as the best way to give up smoking, much safer than smoking, but now some very real concerns.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Sally. So we do understand that there have been a few people that have died, about 9 in the US and in Canada, from vaping-related deaths. We do also understand that what has actually transpired is that what is actually put within that particular liquid that one would put into that device is something that is of concern to a lot of the health experts. We also understand that even though vaping, they are saying, health experts are still saying, and those that are from the Vaping Association saying that it is still the safest form of smoking. It does not mean at this stage that just because that we have had these deaths, they are saying that it does not necessarily mean that vaping is unsafe at this stage. They are saying that a lot of investigation still needs to take place as to what exactly happened with these particular cases, because we do not have the final cause of death for these 9 people that have died, Sally. We do also understand that the Jules CEO has resigned and he stepped down, and we understand that he has already been replaced, and this is amid all the concerns of vaping.
Jules, of course, is, as far as I understand, the biggest or one of the biggest manufacturers of the vape and the vape products. And I think it's important to mention as well that of those 9 deaths, 5, it seems, were linked to the liquid that's put in those vaping products, which apparently had THC in them. So there are many, many questions. You were trying to find an answer to whether it's safe or not. And I can guess what the Vaping Products of South Africa Association said, but let's listen to their bite.
It's 95% safer, and I need to really emphasize here, this is not a statement that is coming from the vaping industry or from the tobacco industry. This is a statement after thorough study that Public Health England, the entity that is responsible to look at how the health of the UK citizens are, have done thorough studies to understand, and they have come out publicly to say that vaping is 95% safer than someone who's smoking. And over and above this, every single year, they've replicated those studies and understand all the different vaping studies that have come out, and they have still come out February 2019 with same position that vaping is safer than smoking.
All right, so they're adamant that it's safer than smoking. Let's listen to the National Council Against Smoking. You spoke to them as well. Let's hear what they had to say first.
There's been different things happening. One of them is the banning of all flavoured e-cigarettes, except for tobacco and menthol. Then there's an emergency ban that they cannot be sold anywhere, but that's a short-term thing which might translate into a long-term permanent thing. And then there's a ban on using them in indoor areas, in hospitals, etc. So we believe that e-cigarettes should be treated in exactly the same way as cigarettes because of this health harm. So we do not want to see them used indoors. We do not want to see them being sold to people under the age of 18. We do not want them to be sold without health warnings. We want people to know what's in the liquid that they are going to be using, so that they can make an informed decision about whether to use the product or not.
So after hearing those different views, Sekho, you're the person who's been tasked to find out if it's safe, if it isn't. Any response from the Health Ministry at all today?
No response at the moment, Sally, but we do understand that, of course, that there is this tobacco bill, the draft bill that they are currently working on, and this is what we are expecting to hear from them more about, that as to what exactly will be within that draft bill. Will they actually put it through now to actually be signed, and how will vaping and cigarettes be properly regulated within South Africa?
Yes, because all this new information is coming out. Sekho, I'm sure you don't vape or smoke, but if a friend were to ask you after your work today whether it would be safe to vape, what would you say to them?
I would say what we heard from the Vaping Association, that it is 95% safer to vape, but I'm not too sure if I would actually do it.
Yes, be safe. Thank you very much. That's our reporter, Sekho Hajo Moahi.